Hello, my fellow leather crafters. Brian Scarborough coming from Albany, Georgia. I'm going to be teaching y'all hand stitching. I want to say congratulations to everyone who made those belts. I saw about 4 or 5 of them, and they're looking good, man. So, and gals. So right off the bat, go ahead and write this number down. Brian Scarborough, 910-554-7837. Just like a few of y'all, my insanity's being checked every day, staying in the house, and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to your phone calls. I'm going to try to teach as much as I can on hand stitching, but you're going to have questions. So please give me a call. Real quick, we're going to go over some of the newer tools that y'all got for this project. Then we're going to jump right into hand stitching, okay? So this is a groover. One of y'all, I know who it was. I'm not going to say your name out loud, but I don't know if it was your belt or if it was another project you were working on, but you made a comment or a question about how to sort of level out your stitching so they don't get hung on anything. So this is your answer right here, all right? It's the groover. So what the groover is going to do is going to make a small groove that you're going to actually stitch inside. It's going to bring your stitching level so it doesn't get hung on anything or doesn't get stuck on anything, and it really looks smooth and professional. The next one is your hole punches. There's going to be a bunch of different types of hole punches, and the difference is going to be the distance between them. Some of them are little twisted and whatnot. Mine's straight on, and number 4. This is the what I'm going to be using today is my favorite one. Y'all got some awls. Some of y'all may have gotten this awl right here. This is a very classic one. For hand stitching, sometimes the shaft actually gets a little too wide, so I've made my own, and you can make them from anything. But this is just an old little screwdriver. You can use a grinder to point it out, or you can get out there on your concrete, and scrape it down and just get it round. This is the one I'm going to be using today. It's my favorite one. Another one that y'all got was your stitching horse, okay? I'm not going to be using the stitching horse today, so y'all can really see me, in here. If I'm using the stitching horse, it may be hard for y'all to see it on the video. But on the stitching horse, sometimes I'll have 2, or this one right here, where you literally just sit down on, put your project in there, tighten it up, and so it doesn't move. That's what this stitching horse is for. I love them. I use them all the time. But for instructional purposes, I will be using just my desk so y'all can see a little bit better. But this is what a stitching horse is, and this is what it's for. All right. So whenever you use this groover, the round part is beveled at the end, and that's going to go on the edge of your project. And then however far away you want your groove, this is going to be the measurement between here and this piece. And that little hole is actually a blade that's going to be cutting through. So I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch. Most people do 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to do what you do and what you don't do with the groover. So whenever you're coming around to the edge, all right, on the corner, you're just going to push it down. It's going to come in. You want to stop before the edge, all right? You don't want to go over. Like if you just sort of push down, get a little motivated, and come all the way down, it's done. I mean, you're not fixing it, all right? You cannot fix that. So you're going to come to almost to the edge, and then start on the other one. And then you're just going to go down. If you have to come back to it, no problem. But that is your groove, okay? With your hole punch, what I do is I start on the corner, okay? I'm going to start on the corner. I'm going to explain that while I go. You're going to pop a hole. You're going to use that last hole to start it off, all right? So the last hole is going to be your first hole, and then you're just going to go. Now, the reason that I want to do it on the corner is because when you come around, now you have a hole to use, all right? So everything's going to be perfect. All right, now, just like that. If you're coming down the row and you know you're about to run out of space, all right, you can start adjusting inches, before the end. So, you may have to only use 3 of the 4 or 2 of the 4, you know, to get to the end. But just be real careful that you don't want to bunch it up down here because you can really get in some trouble. All right, so I did that corner. You're going to use your awl, and this is just pre-work, guys. So the awl, what you're going to do is just go through the holes, and you're really just going to be pushing them, making them a little bit bigger. There's going to be some time. Every hole you're going to go through at least twice, all right? At the end, you're going to go back through them, you know, some more and to end it. And I'm going to show you all that. I know it's confusing right now, but it'll make sense whenever I get through. So you're going to go through all the holes. The more you do pre-workup, the less you're going to be mad and cussing later on. And trust me, you're going to get mad at hand stitching. What's up, Jax? All right. So I popped the holes around the corner. I just awled them all out. So now it's time, we're going to start stitching. So if you were using your stitch pony, this is the time that you're just going to sit down, and this is how it goes in. All right? So you're going to put it in there. You're going to crank it down so it gets tight. And then so it's facing you or going away, however you want to do it. But this is how the stitch horse works. All right? Again, for me, I'm going to do it down here just because the lighting's a little bit better, and my pretty camera woman is a little bit better than if I'm using the stitching horse. So it's time to go to work. What you're going to do is you got your 2 needles, and on hand stitching you got 2 needles. I'm using the High Vis bright orange, and I'm doing that 1 so y'all can see it. 2, because it's that one stitch that I doubt any of my customers are ever going to ask for, just because it is a wild color. So there's many of ways to thread a needle. Some people will actually go through the thread. I literally just go straight through, lay it down. There's some wax in there, so I just sort of pull it down. It becomes 1. All right. So once you get the needles on, you're going to find that beginning hole. 1 needle you're going to put on the first and second hole. You're going to pull through. All right? So there you go. What I do is I take the one from the second hole, I throw it over the top of the first one. All right? And I'm going to explain why in a minute. Then you're going to pull it through, okay? This one's going to go right back through hole number 3. And once it's on the back side, I just automatically just throw it over. So that the one on the back is always going to go under the first one. So as you're going, once it comes through, I just put it over. This one's going to come under. Now, once you get going, and as you see, it looks pretty good, all right? Now, some of y'all may be asking, why am I doing the over? So, if you don't do that, what you can do, and if you can get in here and you could see, you see where this one sort of has some angles. So I did this on purpose just to show y'all. So, you know, flat, 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 and then that one's sort of cocked up, flat, sort of cocked up. The reason they're doing that is because I didn't go over and under. I went under. So with that, you can start seeing a little twist instead of it being perfectly flat. So I'm going to come around to the corner. I want to do the corner just to let y'all know that there's no difference when it comes to hand stitching. So you could do a round, you could do a 90 degree, you could do whatever, and nothing really changes. Now, there's going to come a time, because for y'all doing a notebook, y'all probably have 15 feet of stitching. You don't want 15 feet, you know, to mess with every time you're coming through. Now, some of y'all may, but I don't like to mess with more than about 4 feet at a time, 4 or 5 feet at a time, or about a, you know, my wingspan is about as max as I'm going to do. So when you're going, if there comes a time when you run out, all right, you are running out of a thread and you know you're going to have to redo it, what you do is you're just going to go backwards, okay? So you may have to take your awl, okay? Just bore out that hole a little bit, and then you're going to go right back through the hole. When you're coming back through the hole, make sure that it is a straight hole. You don't want to mess with the thread or cut it in half, because you're really going to start interrupting the strength of everything you're doing. So you're going to back up a little bit. Some people tie it off here. You don't really have to. Some people tie, some people tuck it in. What I like to do is you could just use your lighter. You don't want to burn your leather. So, and then just get your wax ball right there at the end. And that's it, okay? So I got plenty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a fresh one right where we ended, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So whenever you do that, literally just use the last hole as hole 1. And you're going to start from fresh all over again. So you're going to over that one, through that hole, come right back through, over. Now, the way that you had to start over and go backwards a couple times, you know, to end the first thread before you started the second one, that's exactly how you're going to end your project. So whenever you get to the end, you're just going to go back a couple, just like a sewing machine. So whenever y'all have got sewing machines, y'all know that whenever y'all finally get done with your stitching or your sewing, you got to throw that thing in reverse and go back once or twice, all right? Same thing with hand stitching. So, and all you're really doing is just hiding your work. All right, so I'm going to go backwards. So I'm going to end it. So I'm going to go right back through that hole. I'm going to go with that one. That one's coming back through. Pull it taut. You don't want it so tight that you're going to start crimpling it. So just pull it taut, you know, on all of them. So I'm just going to go back through. I'm going to do it twice. So with this one, pull a little tight. I'm going to go back to the back side, and I'm going to end it just like I did before. Now, there's a lot of things you could use. Some people use lighters. Some people have, you know, burning tools, you know, and all kinds of stuff. But for us, real quick, you know, a lighter, you got it through. This is the finished project. As you can see it, it's all flat. Everything looks good. If you look at the ones that I've made mistakes on, now y'all could start seeing, you know, right there, right here. You know, you don't want to come across the edge. So that is hand stitching. That's what it looks like when it's all said and done. Very gratifying for me, and a lot of people laugh at me, but I say it's sort of therapeutic. I do a whole lot of hand stitching. I'm sort of getting a little lazy now that I got my sewing machine. But if y'all have any questions, please pick up your phone, call me, 910-554-7837. Looking forward to seeing the finished project and hoping to see y'all on one of the ranches on horseback real soon. Love you guys. Hoorah.